big show at the O2 where he was debating Simon Harris and I worked for a very big religious broadcaster. And I was able to go down and cover the event for online. And I got to be in a room where there's a few people who got to ask Professor Peterson, Jordan B. Peterson, a question. He was a lovely guy, very generous with his time and his mind, extremely sharp, extremely engaging. And I was a fan before and I was a fan afterwards. And I know he gets a bad rap from people that actually don't often listen to what he has to say. And they want to lump him in with certain people groups and certain ideologies because you can't be a complex person. You're either all one thing or all another thing. There's no chance that you can be a nuanced, three-dimensional person, right? You've got to be in one camp or the other.
Exactly. I've started to listen to him. He's very profound, and actually I've learned some things from him. I'm like, wow, he's very, very profound, very much he's smart. See how his brain works and stuff like that, and it's just wow. I think he's very deep. But as I said before, I can understand why people don't like him because he rub a lot of people up the wrong way. Like, on his shows, like, why you got this guy on his show talking about that?
He's been on the show quite a number of times, and I think they will talk for hours. In fact, their recent convo was one of those, I think, 4-hour chats. You actually start watching, you realise, well, it could have spoken for 10. There's a lot to unpack. And I mean, once you hear Jordan Peterson get going, the stuff he pulls out of his mind, you're just like aghast.
Were you that tone when he was talking? Were you like
it's like Wayne's World. You're not worthy. We're not worthy. Wayne's World. Party time. Excellent. No, I didn't fall at his feet and say, "Come see a man." No, I mean, I've watched hours of his content and I just love the dude. I think he's incredibly needed at this time, especially for young men. And I love the fact, I'd say he'd call himself a Christian with a big dose of, I don't know if this is real or not.
He does do a lot of, that's what I like about him actually. Just remind me of something. He questions things and he thinks the way he speaks. He's very much a thinker, isn't he? And he sort of way he delivers things very emotional. Actually, read some of the things I've been listening on YouTube about him. It's just deeply emotional. So even the way he expresses himself,
and I've seen that many times in my own life.
Understand it would be like, what on earth is this guy on about? I don't get this guy.
A lot of people. Anyway, this isn't the Jordan B. Peterson loving.
We just got carried away with the Joe Rogen.
It's not the fan fest. We're talking about Joe. Hey, Joe. Without being forgotten now, Joe. If you're not been for podcast, Joe. Without being for podcast, Joe. The interesting thing about Joe Rogan, beside the fact that he has a hit show, he has big names and he himself is an up there guy. He's got into some hot water, really, isn't he?
Yeah, he has.
Like when we spoke about mentioning and having certain people on the show with certain opinions that, to put it gently, are seen as controversial. Yeah, very. There have been people that have been petitioning and boycotting Spotify to get him off. Like the famous singer like Neil Young, he says, I'm going to take all my music off of Spotify unless you take Joe Rogan off in protest. And I was like, Neil who?
It won't happen because he's a big player for them. It's a massive moneymaker for Spotify. There's no way. Number one, there's no way he's going to take him off there because he makes him a lot of money.
Yeah.
And number two, it's like, no, he's not cancelable. You can't cancel Joe Rogan. There's a few celebrities you just can't cancel.
Well, I wouldn't go that far to say he's uncancelable because, I mean, nobody is uncancelable, especially in the climate we're in. Yeah. I think give it your best shot if you're going to come for someone like that. I think it's fair to say that it'd be very difficult to cancel someone at that level. Yeah. No one's that bulletproof. But he has a very thick vest because the fan base, because here's the thing, if you take him off air, if Spotify were to yeet him, to kick him off, there are other people, Rumble, who've come, knock, was it? Hello, Joe. We heard you're looking for a new home for your podcast. Come on in. There'll be other places he could take his hit show,
Yeah.
or he could just continue to do it independently, and he's got all those millions of viewers. He has more listeners to his show than I believe watch CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, all these big outlets.
That's so crazy. Wow.
I mean, what do you think about that?
When you told me about that, I was thinking, are you for real? How on earth does he have more listeners than CNN? So
Mad,
you can imagine
innit?
that's why
Mad.
their backs are up about him, isn't it? That's why their backs are up, because they're annoyed. They're like, this guy, we need to get this guy out the way. We need to get rid of this guy because
Rogen.
he's just taking over the world so much that he's just getting on our nerves. And he's got all these people that are coming in with their madness, chatting this craziness. That's the thing. It's like
Their perspective, of course,
their
not
perspective.
our perspective.
But everyone is entitled to an opinion, and there's free speech. But now we've got cancel culture and stuff like that. It's just people just want to get people out of the way and stop talking. You can't agree with everyone. You can't.
Yeah.
You need to all have all our own opinions.
Well, here's the thing, folks. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Me and you, we're talking. Here's the thing. Yeah. The problem is that as great as it is that you can, at a push of a button, distribute your opinions and your voice to all over the world. We're in London. We could be broadcasting and people can hear us in China, in Africa, America, Timbuktu. You can build a community. You can create an audience off of a platform, literally on your mobile phone. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah,
However,
so
here's the flip side of that. You can broadcast your opinions and your voice to all over the world and to potentially millions of people. And it only takes a small sample of people to be upset, and you can be in a lot of trouble. I mean, you can be cancelled at best, and maybe even sued and arrested at worst, because it's never been more true to be very careful with what you say and to tame the tongue. And what do you think? It's mad, isn't it? That what you say can really get you in trouble.
I would never think like years ago this was going to happen, where if you say something you can get cancelled because you're taking away people's livelihoods. People can't earn any money, and but people just don't really think, they just do. And like, we're living in a society now where people just don't care. They literally can just turn on you 1 minute, they like you, next minute if you say something out of order, you're like, she's gone, he's gone, you're cancelled.
Yeah. A disclaimer, anything on this show, anything on T and J, we're not laying down the foundation with our bid to take over the world is our opinion. We haven't, because we're not running the world yet. When we run the world, we'll let you know. When it's ours, we'll put it in concrete and stone exactly what the rules are. But for now, we're just literally enjoying ourselves. Hopefully you do too. But it's lighthearted. We're expressing our opinion while it's still legal. We're expressing our opinion, folks. And if you don't agree, it's cool. In fact, let us know you don't agree. Respectfully, of course. Don't call us nasty names and be horrid.
And also as well, T, you don't actually have to agree with everything people say. It's just everyone's going to have their own opinions.
Say what?
It's like, just be alright about it. It's good. It's all good. Opinions make arguments anyway. If everyone agrees with the same thing, where on earth is the argument?
So you're saying, it's possible to have an opinion that's different to somebody else's.
Of course.
You're twisting my melon, man. Mind blown.
That's what I said. If everyone agreed on the same thing, then there's no argument.
Pick up the energy. You can look like that.
There's no argument.
You went a bit serious there.
Because it's a serious thing. It's a serious thing, because it's like, that's why I don't understand cancel culture, because you can't all agree on that. We're all different people, and you're not going to agree on the same thing. Even we don't agree on the same thing. We're all different. Oh Otherwise, what kind of humans would we be? Just agreeing with it? Yeah, like robot. Yeah, we agree.
Yes, sir.
Come on. That's not normal.
Yeah, we fall out all the time. We have epic arguments, and sometimes we go rock scissors to end it. That's why I win all the time. You don't have to do rock paper scissors.
I don't know why. I did it in my childhood, didn't I? I forgot.
Oh well.
I
put away childish things. Censorship is a real one, isn't it? Because we do believe on one hand in freedom of speech. At the same time, we also believe in responsibility of speech. Yeah, and if you say something stupid, don't be surprised if there's a nuclear fallout. People will drop you. People don't want to know you no more. For me, if someone wants to be a racist and say racist things, or rather, not that they go up to someone and say something racist, you know what I mean? But if they're made a racist joke or call whatever, it's free speech. I'm not happy with it, and I'd be offended if it's to me, but I'm not going to want to police what people say and think. However, if they're in a position of high profile, maybe lose your job. Because you shouldn't have been stupid to say something and here's where maybe I draw the line. If you say something publicly that's stupid and offensive, then you wash my hands with you and you made your bed, you lie.
I mean, what you've said there, T, that's totally different, because I think wisdom comes in there. If you're a big profile person, I think it is about being careful what you say. Obviously, I've said earlier today that opinions, we're all each entitled to our own opinions, but you are very right. I do agree with that, isn't to say that you have to just be careful what you say, especially if you are someone that people know all over the world. You don't just say something stupid, because that will get you cancelled. So I think there's wisdom that comes in it as well. Maybe thinking through what you're saying before you say it, instead of just being like, there's a tongue.
Don't be like us, we just make it up as we go along. Yeah, exactly. Whatever thought pops in our head, we get behind the microphone and record it. Just kidding. Honest. We did plan this.
I definitely think that, cancel culture is maybe something that's going to be around for a long time. I don't know if it's going to get really worse. But if you cancel everyone, there'll be no one talking, will there?
Maybe it will get cancelled.
Cancel talking.
Cancel talking, but also cancel culture.
Cancel
culture's been cancelled. Yeah. Who cancels the cancellers? That's the question.
Yeah, who cancelled the cancellers?
Yeah. But, I mean, Russell Brand was called right wing the other day.
Oh, was he?
You know, Russell Brand.
What?
Russell Brand, right wing. Yeah. What have you been smoking and drinking, mate?
Wow.
He's as liberal as they come. But I think because he appeared on Joe Rogan.
See, when you get on the Joe Rogan show, it causes problems, doesn't it?
Yeah. You get tarnished now with a brush. I think there's a hit job because, listen, like the whole Western, this town ain't big enough for the both of us. Yeah. At dawn. The media, the legacy media as they call it, the big corporations are like, we can't have this Lone Ranger in this upstart come and have a piece of the pie that's bigger than ours or challenges and rivals ours. And he's just one person. So I think they weren't that bothered about the opinions of fringe people on the show before. It's been running for years. Yeah. But when the Crown scenario came, it kind of, and I get it, there is a sense of responsibility, and they've since put disclaimers on such episodes of the Joe Rogan Experience. Can't complain with that. But certainly, I think in many ways that's been the reasonable excuse to want to shut down. It's almost like a mafia hit. They want to do it in a way that's not obvious to outsiders that this is what they're up to. But at the same time, it's like, well, we'll let you know that we're onto you. We're after you. And you better watch your back. You might get some Jason Bournes show up at your door. Sleeper agents with their Krav Maga. Just as well Joe knows how to hand himself, doesn't it? Just as well he knows how to do a martial arts.
Otherwise he'd be in a lot of trouble, Joe Rogan, wouldn't he? He can't hand himself particularly.
Yeah, especially if they send agents around to silence him. Which we hope. We're only kidding, guys. We're peace and love. we just we know we're storytellers. We're picturing an action movie here. wishing harm to befall anyone or anything like that. We're just mucking about.
I actually read recently that some of his videos got taken down, Joe Rogan's, because he's been